I find myself awakened to a new reality. I find myself pondering on destiny and the breath of life. I find myself refusing to settle, refusing to let the voices of the night go past, refusing to let the moments where doubt and fear and sorrow and pain kept me from moving ahead, refusing to forget those moments. I awaken. I awaken to the dream they call the unlivable life. I awaken because the morning dawn calls my name, the sweet breath of the wind touches my face, the dew of the morning is ripe. I say that I have awakened from a long night of sleep, dreaming of nations coming together hand by hand, heart by heart, soul by soul, dreaming and pondering the intellectual argument of Socrates and Aristotle, remembering the theologist Thomas Aquinas, remembering the first time I picked up my very first book, waiting to broaden my horizon. I can remember that it was the word that taught me how to fight. It was the word that alluded to the fact that we are both flesh and spirit. I was awakened when I first became conscious. I became conscious when I realized that I had suffered so much through life that I had enough. It was time for me to share my story. It was time for me to put an end to war. It was time for me to finish what I had started and take on those who have tried to take me on for years. I am the product of abuse on both sides of my family. I am a product of my environment. But I am an excellent caliber of product. And my environment forged this excellent caliber of moral fiber and ethics. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in so much tyranny and pain and sorrow that I didn't believe that there could ever be love in life. I never thought I would live beyond the age of 18. I never believed that I would be able to stand up for myself, walk down the street by myself. My ego, my mind shape was so fragile that everything about me seemed like it would fall apart at any jump or flinch. I was prepared to do what I had to do at the crack of a whip. It was that training, that horse training, as you would train your horse to be a pride stallion. It was that training that taught me and awakened me and gave me the conscience and the discipline to study. It gave me the discipline to overcome my surroundings. It gave me the discipline to believe in my own strength and have self-confidence that no man had ever seen before. And it took me a journey of almost 18 years to learn how to be a man without a male figure around. It took me 18 years to figure out how I could stand tall. It took me 18 years to figure out what the messages were hidden in the sand that the Lord was giving to me, in the signs of dreams. And when I say the sands, I mean time itself. It's one of my favorite phrases, the sands of time. But I became awakened and I became knowledgeable. I realized that every infraction that was done upon me was a lesson in itself, a lesson in humility, a lesson of whether I understood what humanity was, being human was, whether I believed in the birthrights, the old laws that each human being has a guarantee of love, of safety, of their own ideals. They have a right to have their voice heard. It was the overwhelming look of seeing so much abuse in the community that I grew up in that made me an advocate for those who had no voice. It made me an advocate for myself. It made me an advocate for every young child that is growing up now in this generation that can hear my voice. It made me an advocate for those from later generations who didn't understand the gap between the generation of here and now and the past. My job is to help you see what the future is. I had become awakened to the idea that we have a purpose, a greater purpose than standing around playing the fool and playing the bobo. We have a purpose of standing up for our moral convictions, a purpose to our society, to our communities, to our families, to our loved ones. We have a purpose. Each life that is given upon this earth is given because it has a purpose. That's what the natural order of life is. It's to move in the direction of your purpose, not to walk away from it or run away or hide, not to be filled with vain offerings and believe that the owning possessions will give you what you want. What gains a man to gain the world but lose his soul is the question asked if you enter into the realm of the dreamer. For we must move past the ideals of old and move into the ideals of new. We must forge ahead with the plans of building something greater than what we have built before. For it's not just us anymore. We must think of those who have gone without for generations upon generations, who is owed a break, who is owed a voice in this battle, this war over dreams, as I call it. When we become conscious and awake, we believe that we see life as it truly is. But I believe that we are still in somewhat of a dream state because we sugarcoat and paint over reality as if those things don't exist. We turn on the news and watch it for 30 minutes a day and believe that we know what's going on in our community, and then we shut it off and go to bed or go visit with the family or go out or go to a movie. The story is quickly forgotten. The tragedies that have gone on for so long have gone unheard. The cries have not been long left this earth, and yet they are ignored automatically. There are those who don't even watch the news, who want to live in a pretend fairy tale that everything in the world is perfect. And then when calamity happens, when destruction and chaos happens, they suddenly find themselves in the midst of something they don't know how to defend against. When I awaken as a spiritual defense teacher, a teacher who teaches you how to react to things, teach you how not to be seen on the radar, but to do the work that you were created to do, to give you the space to be who you are as you are, to awaken you to the prospect that you have the control over your own destiny, to give you a break from being hunted by the enemy of the Lord, but to give you the ability to be able to have a clear mind when you face the enemy. No longer are you behind, but you are ahead. And part of teaching that is teaching you to fight over your dreams, teaching you to fight using your words, teaching you to fight using the ability to heal the scars of the mind. That is the only way to tame the beast that we call men, that we call the kings of men. For the kings of men rule over all the men of the land. They set forth their law and say for us not to break it, yet they break the law themselves. How can you uphold duality? You cannot. This message is not for the faint of heart nor the ignorant of the mind. This message is not nihilism. This message is a message of spirituality. This message is a message of awakening. This message is a message of telling you that it is your time now to defend yourself. It is your time now to look in the mirror and be who you proclaim yourself to be. It is your time now to move forward in the generation that is coming up and make a difference. Protect their hearts, protect their minds, protect their souls, protect their bodies. For it is them who will do battle for you in the day that you need them. When that hour comes, you are going to need their strength, their will, their determination, their faith to help you continue to fight. In a campaign, in a war, there are waves and waves of soldiers. Each battalion know their orders. They know where they stand. They know where to strike a blow to the enemy. And when you awaken, that is the instructions that you get where you belong. If you have become saved and still lost and not know your tribe and not know your people and not know your nation, then you are confused. If you're not being taught that you are separated from each individual in the spiritual body, not everybody can be a hand. Not everybody can be a foot. Not everybody can be an eye. Not everybody can be a mind. But we must become one body. They don't teach you this. They don't teach you the power and command that you have over your own body, over your own mind, over your own soul. Your soul is just not on loan to you. It's for you to use it with full capability, with full power. I speak to you today because it is time that you awaken to reality. There's a war going on all across this world. There's a famine going on all across this world. There's murders going on all across this world. The horsemen are preparing to ride. They're saddling up at the four corners of the wind, at the four areas of the globe, ready to unleash their torment against man. And the only way to stand against what will be epic, as my lovely niece loves to say, Uncle, is going to be epic. And see, my niece is my twin, so she's spiritually kindred spirit to me. She is my angel. She is everything that I am. She sees the way I see. And she says, Uncle, it's going to be epic. And she knows her uncle is one of those people who stands at the edge of time itself and teaches and looks over and peers and sees what's coming next. Because I have to. I have to dream the dreamer's dream and follow the steps of a dreamer. I have to live as a dreamer. I have to die as a dreamer. I have to tell the truth as a man. I have to tell the truth to excel as more than a man. I have to tell the truth if I want to die with honor. I have to tell the truth if I want to live with honor. So I awaken to these facts and dispel all notions that I am omnipresent. I am just a man. But when it's time, I am more than a man. Have no doubt. I will go to war with anyone who believes that they can defeat the house of God. I will go to war with anyone who believes that they can kick a man while he's down. I will go to war with any man who believes that he can steal from a family. I go to war with any man who believes that he can just take a life with no consequences, with no redemption. I go to war with any man who believes that he can rape a woman and continue to go on in his life as if he has done no harm. I go to war with the notion that there are no good men left on this earth. Yes, I'm speaking to you, ladies. I go to war with that notion. I go to war with the notion that the family is broken and the ideals of the family is no longer, that we have changed the institution of what a family is. I go to war with that. I say to you today that I am awakened, and you should be too, to the cause and effect of what you do. I will never teach you that it is about what others do, but it is about what you do. Inspire one and you can inspire many. This is your calling. Be not afraid. If you can hear the sudden calm in my message over the last two messages, then you will start to see that we are turning around. We are turning the tide on this thing. We are starting to become aware of where we should be and where we should stand and how we should stand. The battle plans are being laid out, and the generals are going ahead and giving their orders out. We are getting ready to do one last act, one last show of strength and power. We are about to show what the human being is to the rest of the world. We're about to show the full capabilities of who we are. We have a lot to prove. We have a lot to prove to heaven. We have a lot to prove to earth. One of the things I used to say when I used to teach fluently, I used to tell my students, when it's time for you to go, do you think that you just go into heaven and sit down to little tea parties and listen to the angels speak of battles that they have waged in the name of the Lord and you have nothing to say? I say, wake up. The time is now for you to begin to understand where your role is in this fight. It's time for you to understand who you are. You're no longer an outcast. From this day forward, you are known as a child of destiny. He who listens to this message and understands the words that I am speaking to you now, awake. When I awakened, almost 25 years ago, I began to see the world as a place of misdirection. It's hard for you to get your house in order when all you're doing is misdirecting each and every person. It's hard to get your house in order when people are not real and they begin to fight for things that are not the truth, that has no importance. When they begin to go to war over ignorance, that is when we lose control over our society, over our families, over our relationships, over our lives, is when we do not think out the process of what war really means. War is about something serious. It's about morals. It's about ethics. It's about who you are. And if you're not willing to stand and know yourself because your greatest enemy is you. The greatest hesitation that will ever come in your life is going to come from you. It's not going to come from anyone else who is relying on you or trying to trust you. It's going to come from you. So it's time for you to begin to do better with yourself and come out on the other side. This time, this is a war that we could win, and I'm in it to win it. Now, my niece would say don't use no corny cliches, but, I don't put grandma's sugar on anything. This ain't grandma's kitchen. This ain't your normal pastor. This ain't your normal sermon. This ain't your normal speech. This ain't your normal transmission. This is Jazrael Kavan speaking. This is someone totally different than you've ever dealt with in your life. This is a mission that I am willing to follow until the end of time. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to fight the enemy with every breath that I have. I am going to speak for the voiceless. I am going to stand in the gap and protect the valley of the fatherless and the motherless. I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. I have awakened, and I do know that God has been speaking to us. Generation after generation, He has told us it is time for us to act. It is time for us to do something in the way of protecting the old ways, the old mile markers, the laws that have been instituted. It is time for us to stand up. The greatest commandment is to love God with all thy heart. And that is His greatest commandment to man, is to love man with all his heart. You can call it a war over love if you want to make it feel better. I just like the title, The War Over Dreams, because it counts you and I. It counts every person on the face of this planet. Love is something that is hard. Some people don't want to be loved. Some people want to have a cold heart and go to their deaths with no regrets of destroying other lives. I say good riddance. There's a bridge waiting for you. There's a building waiting for you. If you believe that you're not up to the task and that you want to be in the way, and you really don't know what you want to decide, and you really don't know what you're going to do, I'm telling you now, we're in the midst of a war. There is a building. There is a bridge. I'm not going to call you an SOB, but I'm going to tell you, you're not going to be missed. Your evil ways, your twisted ways, your insane ideology is not going to be missed. The time is now to awaken, to dream the everlasting dream, the only dream that he wants you to dream. The time is now to believe, to conceive a new Eve, to conceive a new Adam, to begin again, to wipe the slate clean, start one by one, begin putting your palms together and praying, begin the house of mourning, because the time is now. He doesn't want me to speak. He's trying to take my voice. But I'm going to tell you now, the time is now. If you've never experienced anything in your life, never had a near death, never been abused, never been tortured, never been in a car accident, never had anything happen to you, had everything that you wanted, then God bless you. But to those who have gone through, who know this message is true, it's time to move forward, not backwards. It's time to move forward with the agenda. God is on my mind. It's time to move forward with the agenda. God is on my mind. If anybody has anything to say of why you doing what you're doing, why you changing your steps, why you starting not to hang out with the crew you used to hang out with, why you no longer have anything to say in the midst of drama, why you staying apart from those who create drama, why you starting to destroy your enemies one by one, say God is on my mind. Begin to chant that message. It is a message, the call of wisdom, to bring him straight to you in your time of need. Just remember the words, God is on my mind. Don't let nobody tell you that the devil's winning. Because it can take 1,000,000 soldiers of his to one of the Lord's. David, Adam, Moses, Jesus. Come on now. Go all through the Bible and see one against many. David and Goliath. Come on now. Moses and Ramses. Jesus and the Caesar of Rome. I'm telling you, don't doubt, believe, awaken.